Hey, Futurist Jim Carroll from the virtual broadcast studio. Listen, I want to tell you about this article that came across my desk this morning because it just fit in perfectly with everything I've been doing. The AI wildfire is coming. It's going to be incredibly painful and maybe incredibly helpful. Here's the context. I've been writing this series every day, 26 Principles to Master Exponential Growth in 2026. Writing one post every single day, covering a whole range of topics that all fit into the broad theme that, look, the rate of change outside your control must be met by a greater rate of learning inside your mind. It's about how to align to a world in which change is happening faster than ever before. So yesterday I wrote one called Wisdom Inversion. Know when to get your age out of the way. It's kind of a fun read. Go have a look at that one. But the one I wrote this morning was about hype immunity, and that the whole point being that leadership today isn't about what you chase. It's about what you ignore. And it's all about the context of hype. And you're going to find a nice little chalkboard summary inside the post. But what it really gets into is something I talk about a lot. I do it on stage and I do it in my posts. And that's the Gartner Hype Cycle, that every single trend has a trigger. We get crazy about it. We hit the peak of inflated expectations. We go into the trough of disillusionment. Eventually we figure it out. We hit the slope of enlightenment and the plateau of productivity. And I write that in the context of what I call FOMO, or fear of missing out, and the fact that organizations and people tend to chase the latest shiny object. That's like the squirrel in Up. Absolutely no attention span. And, this is manic trend chasing. We've got to watch out for that. I cover that in the post, and I get into the whole idea that, look, we have these corporate games we should play, such as a form of bingo. I suggest that you should take in a bingo card to your meetings with all the latest hype words, all the buzz and hysteria about what's hot, what's not, and play a little bit of hype bingo. But the important part about this bingo card I share in the post is some of these trends are real. Some are not. They're on the peak of inflated expectations. And it's important that you understand which ones are which brings me to the article that came across my feed just after I finished writing the post this morning. It's over on Substack. I just worked it into the blog post. The AI wildfire is coming. It's going to be very painful and incredibly healthy. This is probably the best observation I've seen on what is going on out there. I know everybody's talking about, is there a bubble? Is there not a bubble? What's really going on? What's happening? This really puts into perspective the context of what is occurring out there in terms of previous downturns. Look, I was around for the dot-com bust. I actually predicted it coming. And if you take a look at the article, you'll see what happened. An absolute collapse in the valuation of companies who were very involved in the early stages of dot-com hysteria. Amazon went from $5.60 to 30 cents. eBay went from $12 to $3. And then they all came back. There were survivors amongst the rubble. The same thing happened with the great economic collapse of 2008. A lot of collapse of a lot of companies. Many disappeared, many survived, but some survived the rubble. And the wreckage of what came out the other side. And this article really puts in perspective a really good overview that this is exactly what is going to happen with AI. We're having such a massive build out of AI data centers. There's so much investment going into AI infrastructure. There is so many new AI companies appearing. And we're going to have the exact same thing happen. It's not going to be a bubble, the article explains. It's going to be a wildfire. And it's going to parallel what we saw in 2001, 2002, and what we saw again in 2008. This is a really good read. So I've just worked it into my blog post over at jimcarroll.com, and I'll update the other areas where I have this blog post, including 2026.jimcarroll.com. The other one I think you want to listen to, there's a fellow Canadian guy named Paul Kedrosky. He's been down in Silicon Valley for quite some time. He's got a really good handle on what's going on with all the investment occurring out there, with all the venture capital. He's been sounding the alarm for quite some time about what's going on with AI. I've been skeptical of a whole bunch of aspects of it. And he just had an interview with Paul Krugman, the globally recognized economist, about what is going on. You want to go read this as well, because it really puts in perspective the fact that the economy is really skewed. We have this massive AI overbuild happening at the same time we're witnessing an economic downturn. We'd be in a recession if we didn't have this AI investment. And he gives a really good perspective, the conversation between the two of them, as to where this is going. So I think you want to go over, hit my blog, jimcarroll.com. I'm going to update these to the post on 2026.jimcarroll.com this afternoon. And you want to understand what's going on out there and what's coming, because the important thing is to understand you need to develop what I call hype immunity. That was the whole focus of this morning's trend. I hope you keep following the series. It's getting a really good reaction. It rolls out every single day between now and December 31st with some days off for the holiday season. And I got a lot more yet to come. Futurist Jim Carroll. Oh, and that would be the end of that.